Now I found an old can of filler primer. High build formula. High build means that it puts on the maximum amount of talcum powder so that it can fill in scratches and holes. I found this really old can because I'm so broke I can't even buy a $3 can of that, because none of my grateful subscribers is donating $3 for all this great auto body help. But that's another day, another story. Now, when we put the primer on, like I said, I do not want to get it up against this edge. So there is a way that we use masking paper so that you don't get a hard edge. I can't put the masking paper against here like this, alright? Because what I'll do is I will leave a hard edge of primer right here or anywhere along this, and it will show up in the paint, I guarantee you. So we have to do a certain way, and I'll show you right now. First of all, we get this masking paper. This is your standard masking paper that doesn't bleed through. Now, instead of putting it on like this, like you'd normally think, we turn it around. I'll show you why here in a minute. I'm going to try and do this one-handed. Okay, so you're asking yourself, why is the guy covering up what he's going to do? Well, I'll show you here in a second. You want to put that down like that, okay? Now what you want to do is you want to pick the paper up. Okay? Now watch. You pick the paper up away from what you're going to spray. Okay? Now, if you'll notice, this is nice and flat. Well, it's got a little water on it due to the fact it's colder than hell in Wally World. But what you want to do is you want to get a nice round oval. Okay? An oval, like this, an oval. Let me see if I can put this behind here. I know how to do one-handed. Okay? Now watch. Okay, you want to get it like that. The reason is that when I go to spray, I'm going to spray it right now. If that goddamn dog will shut up. Shut up! The reason you want to have this here is there is not a hard edge underneath here. Okay? Now, if you keep your can steady, you're going to get some on here, a little bit on here, but there will not be a hard edge. Okay, you want to go. Oof. God, this hasn't been used for a while, so you want to go nice and slow. And remember that, so that's probably way too much, even for out here when it's cold. This has got lacquer in it, okay? Lacquer thinner. That means it evaporates 100% to dry. But you still need to go light coats when you put it on. And you let it dry, and as it dries it does shrink. Now I'm going to put 2 or 3 good coats on there and let it dry. Then what we're going to do is we're going to put some more silver on here for to do the blocking again, and then we're going to go over it with a piece of sandpaper and see if I missed anything, and you will find that I have. Now, just to show you how this works, if you take this off, okay, we take it off. Let's put it over here. Now, do you see? There is no hard edge. It should look like this all the way along. Okay? If I was to put a piece of tape right along here, then that primer buildup is going to leave a higher level all along here, and then that'll show up in the paint. Now we don't care what it does on the panel. All we care about is what it looks like on the finished product. And this lacquer may take a number of days to dry. Okay, the spot putty right here, which is thick, basically thick primer, is still drying. I'll guarantee you it will. It is. And until the primer and the spot putty are completely dry, then it will not stop moving. It will not stop sinking. And as it sinks, and as the lacquers evaporate out of the primer and this area will sink. And then after you spray it in 2 or 3 weeks, you'll come back and you'll see a finite outline of this right here, and any other work that you've done. So the trick is to try and get the primer coat and the spot putty completely dry before you put your last sand on it, and then shoot it, because we want our surface to be as smooth as possible, because the smooth surface will reflect the paint job. So that's what I'm going to do with it for now, and I'll put on a couple more coats, but I won't be able to sand it today. It's just too cold out here. It won't be dry. But when I go to block it and show you the contrasting colors on here, you will be able to see all the problems, even with the 1000 grit, 1500 grit, or 2000 grit. And if the sandpaper shows the problem, you will definitely see it in the paint. Especially, remember, like I said, black paint is the most hardest paint to paint in the world. You never see older guys with black cars because they got to keep them clean every 2 seconds. I mean, black, it's beautiful when it's done right, but chances are you got a nice black car, you're going to go park it somewhere, and some punk kid is going to say, "Oh boy, I wish I had one of those, but I don't have one of those, and I feel bad about it. I'm going to take this key and I'm going to key right down it." So why have it black? So that's how we mask to keep a hard edge off the top of something. The masking also works if you're doing like a single door that's on a car, or a single area where you want to keep paint off of certain areas. You make this poof thing, just like the Jersey Shore or Jersey Girl hairdo. They call it a poof or something. I don't know what the hell it is. But if you make that round piece with the paper, you will not get a hard edge. And that hard edge is the biggest no-no. Now, when we go to sand, I want to point something else out too. You never go in circles. If you go in circles, well, you might as well you might as well quit right now, because that will leave swirl marks in the paint. You can do that on the final polish, but you cannot do that on regular painting. You always want to go with the grain. This way, this way. You want to go this way, this way, this way, this way, and this way. You don't want to go like this and like this. Always go one way. Same with cars, everything else. It all has to be done one way. Now there are certain basic techniques to paint a car or anything else. Some, it's like a guitar player. Everybody plays the same way, but Eddie Van Halen can do it better than anybody else. It's just a matter of practice and skill that you use and you take. Okay, I'm going to put a little bit more primer on this, and we'll see what we're going to do. Don't forget to donate. Yeah, bunch of bums. Just kidding.